Oh, right, we're rolling. So I found this footage, and this is for a future episode that I hope to get to someday. But I just went kind of fast and free shooting a bunch of footage for a lot of stuff, and as you can see, this has a lot of different posts that would have to go on it. And so I think I'm going to use this shot for something else, and if I end up like having still making the episode, this will just be the same character appearing, in an earlier episode. It'll be fun. So I want to try, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to track this and then set him up so he's in the right hand thing, like drinking right here, and there'll be a little setup. And then I want some like sci-fi police officers to be kind of doing some stuff here in the background. And so I'll have to shift the tracked camera and all of that over to the right and kind of figure out the composition. And it might not be the fastest process, but a lot of people have been asking for I think, hopefully, exactly this sort of thing. So let's jump into it. Let's see, it's C1112. So what would make the most sense, keying or tracking first? Let's do tracking. Opening up the footage, C112. And just gonna make sure, let's see, set frame prefetch. Just gonna make sure that the frame rate matches here. Oh, we can't until the prefetch is done. Okay, so normally I would do my thing where I click detect features and just let it auto find stuff, but in this case I shot it specifically so that ideally it's just easy to track by just clicking on these points scattered around. That one will probably go out of frame. That's a good one. And I only need 8, so we can be kind of picky here. Let's see, does this stay in frame the whole time? Let's get a sense of what. Oh yeah, most of these are in frame the whole time. Get down there. Yeah, I tried to shoot this to make it very easy on myself. Okay, let's get this eye. And I wonder how many we're at here. I feel like this tape is probably not high contrast enough. That probably is. Can I just track right there? All right, let's see what happens. Looks like they're going good. We lost the one on the bottle. Maybe we don't need it. And I'm only going to be using a small. I should have trimmed this shot before I even tried tracking it, but here we go. It'll be fun to have a big long shot. In fact, I should probably try to figure out. I think I'll probably be using from like frame 20 to frame 150 max. So that's cool. All right, so let's just try solving. Let's say this to this is probably good keyframe. So frame 1 to 99. Refine all of these guys. Solve camera motion. Solve error of 0.4. Okay, that's great. Just right out the gate, it's good. It says background. Set tracking scene. Ooh, I should add some points just so that I can easily reconstruct the floor here. Let's see. Let's track that. Let's track. Can I track that? And maybe that. And if we can just track these 3. And yeah, I think that will help us. Okay, did we get any? Whoa. What's it trying to do? Come back. That's not a very good track. Yeah, okay. Well, let's try solving again and hope it isn't worse than point. Oh, it's a little bit worse. 0.5 still good. I just wanted to be able to select these and say this is the floor, and let's make this one be the origin. And this looks like maybe it isn't actually all that flat. If I were doing this again, I would have put more easily trackable points, down here. feel like I should be getting a better result than this, though. This really doesn't look flat, but maybe it is. So I'll try squaring everything up and seeing just what it actually looks like, because sometimes that can look not good and it's actually perfect. Okay, so if I do this and I'm going to try to reconstruct the green screen real quick. There's the trackers on the back wall. Okay. If I make this wireframe. Oh, that does look pretty solid, doesn't it? Woo! There's the track of the camera. So let's go over into layout, and then, ooh, also, let's save it. At the bar. And our trackers are gone, so I'm going to turn those back on here. Motion tracking. Woo! Okay. Keep the floor. And let's just try to reconstruct like this table he's sitting at. I don't actually have any points on top of the table. So ideally these lines would be exactly square, which I think is probably just because my points aren't completely flat with the floor, or maybe the table isn't actually flat. I mean, that can totally happen. So I want this to go right here. Okay, no, this will work. This will work fine, I think. Maybe I'll just cheat it. See if I can line it up a little bit by hand. That's looking pretty good. I'm gonna put the footage background on the foreground just so that I can get like a solid view and also kind of see what I'm doing a little better. Let's see. How do I select that? There we go. And let's see how well that lines up. Hey, that's looking really lined up. Okay, cool. And so you might be thinking, yeah, well, this tracking is kind of a best case scenario, isn't it? It's like, yeah, a little bit, but I worked hard to kind of make it a best case scenario. So at least in terms of, well, I think this will still work. This will still work okay. So I'm just trying to get right now to the point where I've tracked it and also keyed him. So let's jump into keying him, and I'm just gonna key through frame where he grabs that one. Honestly, it's kind of weird that like he finishes one. I don't know. That's too much for him to just be a random character in a shot. Him like aggressively going through beers is maybe like a little distracting. So I'm just gonna go through like frame 181. Jumping into compositing here. When you track, it gives you all of this wacky, fun stuff. I'm not gonna worry about any of it. I'm just gonna delete all of that. We've got our movie clip here. If we didn't, we could just go Shift A, add movie clip, and that lets you bring in your movie clip, but we do, so we'll just use that. And a viewer node. If you ever want to make a viewer node appear or direct it to anything, you Control-Shift-Click on the target, and it brings that up there in the back. So we're trying to do some green screen keying, so just go down to Matte, Keying, and this is not particularly ideal footage. Like there's a flare on it. It starts off keying white, and there we go. There's shadows, there's light hitting it, he's on it for green spill, that isn't ideal, there's wrinkles and all of that, but if we just click somewhere dark, it's still going to work pretty darn okay. And so, yeah. So let's zoom in here, and that part is a little bit bizarre, that his face is being eaten away. Let's see, there we go. So I think I can fix that with like tweaking the screen balance. Yeah, look at that. Okay, cool. And if I pull down clip white, that'll fix anything that's kind of maybe like not totally solid. Except everything is solid, and you want to move these as little as you have to. Like if you can get that full range from 0 to 1, that's you do want to do that. Like right now, there's a little bit of shadow on the ground here, but I'm not even worried about that. You might be thinking like this doesn't look all that good, but we have a secret in our back pocket, and that is the alpha convert. And so convert that to a pre-multiply and connect the viewer. And wait, what are we doing here? Oh, image into. Yes. And now, okay. So if we mute this one, you can see everything's all kind of like jagged and stuff. And this just like, it pre-multiplies the stuff. And I think Blender actually, I don't know. Nathan Vegdahl's told me that this maybe doesn't do what it's. Each program kind of deals with pre-multiplication of alpha values and stuff maybe slightly differently. It isn't like 100% standardized, but this is gonna work darn good for us. So how do we get rid of all this stuff on the edges? I just kind of want the relevant stuff. So we're gonna go into. Do I already have masking up here? No. So masking, loading our clip. Gonna ctrl+click here. Yeah. Boop. And do I want to keep the stand? I'll get rid of the stand. I think I'm going to be building around the whole thing, but... And then Alt-C to close it up. Select all of those. And let's click on that point and hit Control-P. And ideally now, the mask is just parented. Yeah? There's probably somebody out there who didn't know you could do that and is excited. I assume that only because I recently found out, and I am quite excited. Just being able to just easily parent the mask. And you can do, I think you can do individual points, individual, you know, tracking markers too. So like for helping out with roto and things like that, it makes it so much easier. Okay. So now we jump back into the compositor, add our mask node, plug it into the garbage mat, and they assume you're keying out garbage, but we're keying the things we love, and so we put in the invert, and it doesn't work. Interesting. Is it because we haven't loaded the mask we want? I think that could have been it. Is it not updated because it is crazy? Okay, there we go. So now we've got our thing. I like it. Jumping over to here now. I'm gonna set up an uncompressed TIFF. I think is a good way of going about stuff. Deflate. What is all of this? Compression, none. Oh yeah, okay. And let's add pre-keyed. Sits at bar. And that's because I want to, let's see, Control F12? Will that just do it? Hey, it is! It's exporting quick, too. It's been done in no time. And that's because I want to actually put him in the scene, because I've just been really into that lately. Having the characters actually there, actually being able to be, like, emitting light out back into the scene. And all of that, and being able to just composite the scene around them, to compose the scene and model all the assets like with the character in there, so you know exactly what you're working with, as opposed to like having to jump back and forth between a compositor and a 3D program. Being able to do it all in one thing, I've been saying it a lot. It's been the biggest shift for me in the past few months, is realizing that that's a totally viable option, and I dig it. Also, just like check out Blender's keying. I know it hasn't really changed in a while, but it's. I've been throwing weird shots at it, and it always is, oh, okay, looks like I've got maybe a little bit of a funky situation going on with this forehead. I could have dialed in that green spill balance, or maybe clipped the white values a little bit. As you remember right now, I have clipped them not at all, but should still work. Oh, alright, and we're at frame 200, so let's stop that. Let's go into layout. Here you go, import images as planes. Pre-keyed. Select everything. Animate image sequence. Set it to emit. Use, is it straight? I think I want to use a straight version of the pre-multiplied thing. We'll do a test. Look at that. There he is. Okay, now I just kind of want to put him back in the space about where he was in the actual scene. Ooh, that's a little funky down there. Which, you know, wouldn't matter if we have, like, here, I can turn off this now. If the floor is dark, like, this probably won't matter down here. Cool. And also, this camera is... It's going to be cropped more. But first, I'm going to do a thing. Let's see. So here's the footage. It's going a little bit. It's wiggling, the camera's wiggling, and that's because both the footage and the camera are doing their own thing. So, I'm going to have the footage, shift-click on the camera, and with the copy attributes add-on activated, I'm going to go Ctrl+C, copy the location and the rotation, tab into edit mode, GZZ to move it on its local axis, slide him back out, and scale him until he perfectly fills the camera's frame. And if I parent him now to the camera, we've normalized his position. Look at that. He no longer is sliding over everywhere. Oh, okay, we've run out of frames, yeah. This to me is straight magic. I am very excited about it. There's other stuff we could do with it too, like while we're here, let's see what happens if we kind of put a bottle there, extrude it up. You do the same thing. I should have put a tracking marker on his box, because then I could actually put it in the exact right position in 3D space. Yeah, I probably should have done that. This is probably signing myself up for... I was going to try to just rebuild the scene and project him onto it, so I got, you know, some of that right parallax going, but I think this is going to be good enough. And so I might just start blocking in a little bit more of this bar thing here, and call it a night. I actually didn't expect it to get to this point so quickly. I'm delighted. Hide that weird table down there. Actually, maybe... I don't like... Yeah. Oh, come on. There's his hand. So I guess we want to do something like that. And this is where reprojecting him back onto this would be really cool, because obviously we could just, like, you know, delete this. Probably once you get into 3D, stuff starts to get kind of weird. Okay, yeah, that seems to be working great. That's bizarre. So look at the table lines up perfectly here, even though he's just a video in the background. Isn't that weird? Ah, I like it. So we could give him like a wacky sci-fi chair, or like block in. Oh yeah, let's just keep doing some stuff. I'm gonna darken this a little bit just to. Okay, so now that we have this all locked in, you can see he's drifting slightly, and we could get rid of that, and that might actually help us. Empty sphere. I'm just going to put this down here for a point of reference. I'm going to turn on auto keyframing, and I'm just going to have this front bit always try to intersect with right there. So keyframe, and this is just going to normalize him even more, because right now, like, the camera drifting forwards and backwards is what's causing this motion. And so we've already normalized, you know, the left, right, up, down motion, but this will normalize the camera moving closer and further away. I'm working on a whole tutorial that kind of like step-by-step explains why that is. If it's not like, it's weird stuff. Again, once you start working in like 3D space, lots of things weirdly just start snapping together because like trigonometry and all that. Just like, oh, you're actually working. Ooh, I think it's actually more like this now. Okay, and does this look normalized now? Yeah, that's a lot better. It looks a little funky like this, but from the camera, it totally works. And that's good, because we're going to add another camera here. And I could just, you know, have the camera do whatever I want here. And as long as it kind of matches. In fact, maybe we'll do that. Let's see. Where's the final frame? Yeah, something like that. And the first frame, match it up kind of like this. Because the further it gets away from the original camera, the more things might look a little bit like they're slipping. Like, it's weirdly forgiving, but... Okay, so we go to our new camera. And now we have our perfect new weird digital camera motion. Isn't that bizarre? But that also means I can... Let's see, do I already have keyframe rotations on? Yes, I do. Delete all of these. And rotate it so that I can see my... Yeah, I've got auto keyframes on, so it's adding everything for everything it can. Oop. Cool, and that means also I can do my crop without things getting too weird. 855. Yeah. I can slide a little bit, but again, you can see it kind of like stuff gets a little bizarre, but rotation. And I want to be looking over at these cops over here a little bit. Girlfriend and I just started watching Cheers. We decided we finished Better Call Saul, which was very good television. Then we were gonna watch Breaking Bad again, but honestly, it's just so stressful. Like, it got to the part where, I mean, just second episode, it's like everything is going wrong, and it's just everything is so stressful that I didn't want to enter the world of Walter White again. Okay, here. So I think I've gone a little bit too nuts with these rotational keyframes. I'm just going to delete them and start over. In fact, can I cheat the... I don't want the camera to move that much. I'm going to start it more like this, which I guess is not the greatest idea from, like, a lining up perspective, but I think if I put some stuff here to hide that seam, it won't really matter. Okay, so we'll pan over this way. And we don't even see his feet down there. This will be great. Alright, so let's start blocking in some of the other geometry now. I like the idea. This is supposed to be... I like the feeling of a like airport bar where there's all this other stuff kind of going around in the background, and he's just a guy kind of like people watching a little bit. Okay, there's a... That's too short. It's maybe too tall, but... Ooh, that can be cool, actually. He says, not elaborating. Okay, let's hide this camera now. Oh. Cool. And I'm just gonna mock in really quick, kind of a distant platform that the police will be standing on. And maybe I'll... the rotation. Whoa, that's everything. Yeah. Cool. Wouldn't you wanna go to Cheers? I realized I had Cheers and Happy Days combined in my head. What I really need to do right now, actually, if we're gonna be doing this, is bring in a dude. So I kept waiting for the fawns or whatever to show up and like jump a shark. Ooh, okay. So I've been trying more to work at scale, and this guy is. Wait, no, this guy isn't at scale. This is scale. This is actually. I'm already at scale. This guy doesn't know what's going on. He should be like this big, kind of that big compared to a cube is about human sized. Okay, so I'll just cheat him just a little bit. And it really only matters for physics, like if I want to add any like drops or any, you know, random things happening in the background. Working at actual size means that like gravity works at the right speed and I don't have to tweak stuff. Yeah, there'll be even more in the background. Do 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 do. Jeez, now it's all Cheers all the time. We're cops. Yes, we are. We stand on this platform. What if we're a floating platform? Like he's just there grabbing a drink. And they're on like a cop elevator. Dude. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep working on this later, but this is probably good enough for tonight. So, all right. I will see you later.